Thank you, Michael, for getting us thinking. I think we need to give them a bit more coffee, get them a bit more fired up first thing in the morning. Look, I'd like to also acknowledge that we're on beautiful First Nations land and that it was never ceded. And thank you, Michael, for giving us a little bit of info. I have lived in Sydney most of my life, and I never knew why Manly was called Manly. So there we go. And when I'm up at Burleigh Heads, I'll puff my chest up a bit and try and fit in up there. Might be working hard at my age. I'd also like to pay our respects to Sally Situ, local member for Reid, Peter, thank you, as Vice President, Fiona Brewer, Threatened Species Commissioner, great champion for us, and thank you for all the work that you do. But most importantly, all of you, thank you for making the effort. Some of you struggling a little bit with Sydney's finest weather. One of our staff, she lived in Victoria most of her life, and she came to work at Taronga, and she said, so this has been a lie, Melbourne's got lovely weather compared to Sydney, as it rained for 22 weekends or something, I think the first year she was here. You're getting to all experience a little bit of that today. Look, I think it's not necessary for me to talk to this group about the silent extinction crisis that's going on around us. And everyone here today is playing a really important role in that process. I think one of the things that, through my learnings from Indigenous culture, is the power of connection to land, to sea, to sky, and of course, importantly, to each other, community. How do you get on and survive under difficult circumstances? We've all heard that saying, if you want to travel fast, travel alone. If you want to travel long, travel with a community. And at the moment, we're facing wicked problems, systems thinking problems, for an extinction crisis that is occurring around us every day, consequences of us seeing that every day. And we know that there's no simple magic bullets. We know that there's no single problem or golden discipline that is going to solve this. We all have a role to play in that. And working on wicked problems requires systems thinking. It also requires a community. And I think what's really powerful about this symposium is that it's bringing together a community of people, as Michael said at the start, that are genuinely committed to saving species, genuinely committed to working with local communities, because we know that 21st century conservation is actually about people. It's not about the animals. We've got so many examples of that. We just have to look at the humpback whales. When I was a young man, 186 of them travelling up and down the coast of Sydney. This year, 40,000 plus, many of you will be aware. So it doesn't take much for nature to be able to, if you give it a chance, for it to start to come back. I'd like to talk for a moment about the zoo and aquarium industry. And Taronga I'll start with. Taronga's vision is to secure a shared future for wildlife and people, because we recognise that it is about people that's going to make a difference. In our own little way, as part of a bigger community, we've got about 40 scientists working on those wicked problems, many of them working closely with a number of you. Our field scientists, of course, working on 15 recovery programs, published 42 papers in this last year alone, dedicated to saving species. 11 translocations over this last 12 months, including one that's really exciting, and that's putting Chuditch back into New South Wales after being extinct for over 100 years. And of course, no one does that alone. Working very closely with national parks and UNSW and others, this is how these wins, small wins, are achieved. We're on a very exciting program at the moment and have just acquired 3,000 hectares of woodlands that there's only 6.5% of it left across eastern Australia. Woodlands that can take over 35 threatened species of mammals, over 50 threatened species of plants. And of course, using the unique skills that zoos have by bringing together the detailed work on genetics, hand rearing or rearing threatened species, and then preparing them for release, working with our partners at botanic gardens, national parks and others to rehabilitate land, regenerate land. Because we also know, and I was listening to Ken Henry the other day, that it's not enough for us to just lock up the land that we've got and use that to protect. We need to absolutely be taking a positive step forward to create good, new habitat again. So our latest initiative is called Habitat Positive, and we'll be partnering with many of you, or probably all of you at some point, on our ambition to take a leadership role in regenerating habitat for millions of hectares across eastern Australia, valuable, important habitat. I'd like to now go to the ZAR community. ZAR's vision has been around for a very, very long time, and it's to create a positive outcome for wildlife and people. Very similar to Taronga's, recognising that we have a massive community, over 100 zoos across this nation, New Zealand and the Pacific, that are all absolutely dedicated to work as part of a community because they are only there because of the community, and you are that community. So you'll hear a lot from ZAR over the next few days, and I'm sure many of you have worked with James and others and Nicola across your time. But we as a community see the importance and power of working together and working with all of you. And I'll finish with a quote, and that is from Margaret Mead. Some of you will have heard this before. The Taronga people have probably heard it too many times. But never underestimate that a small, thoughtful and committed group of people can change the world, because in fact it's the only thing that ever has. And I'm sure this symposium group here is an important part of us changing the trajectory for threatened species. Thank you.